Hi, this is Dan Sullivan. I'd like to welcome you to the Multiplier Mindset Podcast. Today's story, which is certainly a game-changer transformation, is Sally Bartlett, who comes to Strategic Coach in the UK. Sally is one of those favorite kind of stories because she's in a family business. So someone else in the family previously had started the company. And we have a lot of great success stories regarding the person who inherits a family business. And the all-time record so far has been fifth generation. And someone who is a fifth generation in a huge agricultural company took over and immediately realized that one of his obstacles was kind of the way things have been done for a long time in the family business, but that doesn't really create success in the present and going forward. There's some of it that totally does because there's a great brand, there's a great reputation, there's a customer base, there's a team that you take over, but it's got to be your game, and whatever part of the game that isn't going to work for you in the present and whatever part of the game that isn't going to work in the new marketplace that you're facing, that the company has never faced before, you've got to take control. And Sally tells such a great story about how she said, well, I'm now in charge and I'm totally responsible now for the success of this company. So what Sally tells us is how she just took 100% responsibility for this great asset that she had, which was an existing company, but she had to make it her game, not the game somebody else played years ago. I love this kind of story because there's an enormous number of really great companies that go first, second, third generation. So I just love what Sally talks about, of getting in touch with her unique ability, getting in touch with the unique ability teamwork, how she could be more focused in a marketplace where there's far more competition than there's ever been before.
So I run a ski shop, well now ski, snowboard and skateboard, because we've just amalgamated my sister's shop, so anything to do with sort of board sports. And we're in our 51st year of business, and it's a family business and doing very well. So when I came to Strategic Coach first, and I was thinking, I run a ski shop, this is a slightly, unusual industry anyway, but also watching lots of the videos with Strategic Coach, I hadn't seen anything where people really were talking about retail. But I knew that I had so many ideas that I wanted to implement and almost forward-thinking sort of positive steps to improve our industry, improve our shop, but ways that we could sort of deal with customers differently, ways we could treat them, ways we could market to them. And I kind of knew that all those ideas were being like sort of bottled up inside and I couldn't almost utilize them properly. And I kind of felt that signing up to Strategic Coach was going to allow me a way to be amongst lots of people who, whatever industry they were in, they were all that much more forward-thinking mindset. They were all here because they wanted to grow and improve what they do, both personally and within their businesses. So I kind of felt like it didn't make any difference what industry you're in. If you have the right mindset, you can utilize anything and everything or bits of the program. But either way, you're still going to progress and improve and move forward with yourself and your business. After my very first workshop, people are like, you're a bit different, you're like way more positive and more like directed in sort of what you're trying to do. And so it was like almost instantly you could see that people were, kind of understanding that there was a purpose for what you were doing, it was working. It's interesting, I also am a ski race coach, like performance coach, and I utilise some of the concepts and ideas with some of the children that I coach, just to basically sort of plant little seeds in their heads of, it might just be different ways of thinking, different ways of approaching a problem. And it's amazing, I think, how loads of the concepts cross over into every aspect of life. And before you know it, you just keep sort of teaching other people different things because it becomes second nature and you don't realise you're doing it. I think coming to the workshops has allowed me time to think, allowed me to almost put kind of my thoughts and ideas on paper and then kind of go back to the shop and go, right, what can we implement? Where can we improve? I think a lot of the time you have 1,000,001 ideas, but the workshops almost direct the ideas clearer. And, I think that definitely as a lot of the processes and tools sort of help you define what you should and shouldn't be doing or, put the ideas into processes. So over the last 3 years, revenue's gone up year on year on year, which has been brilliant and more profitable. And I think as a company, put a lot more structure in just the team that we've got. So we've implemented new store manager, ridiculous things like got staff contracts, which we didn't have before because we were a small family business and we'd almost work more on trust. So, I guess a lot of the processes we've formalised, but which should be day-to-day things that everybody does, but they don't always because they get neglected. I think just in general, we're defining kind of who our market is, who our target audience is much better, and we're actually targeting the marketing accordingly and giving them, I think, a better experience. I think sometimes you think, oh my God, I've got so many things to do. Can I take that time out? But at the same time, you always know that every time you come to the workshops, it gives you that clarity and it's basically taking you away from the day-to-day working within, your normal sort of business and allowing you to sort of almost clear your mind of anything that you are currently doing and almost thinking about what I've done well, what's been successful, and then thinking, right, with whatever the workshop is about, thinking, right, okay, what positive aspects can I utilise within the tool or the idea, the concept that you're working on. So it sort of gives you, I think, clarity almost of ideas and ways to move forward within the business. I believe coming to a strategic coach is definitely a way of, I think, people being able to utilise the ideas that are in their head and actually improving themselves, improving their business, and almost giving them the feeling of freedom, not just literally like that they might have more days off, but actually the feeling of freedom from their ideas that are bottled up in their head. And I know there's so many people that want to improve what they're doing, or they have so many concepts and ideas, but it's understanding or finding a way to actually make them happen. And I think strategic coach gives you that opportunity and gives you sort of thinking tools to make things work and progress and move forward.
So the biggest thing is that you're not the company. You're now the entrepreneur. And Sally really got clear about this right off the bat, that she had a lot of expectations because she was now the next generation. And what she really had to zero in on is just who she was. She wasn't her parents. She wasn't anybody who had created this company before. She was new, and she had to focus her time just on what she did extraordinarily well, regardless of what the organization looked like beforehand. It was like the beginning of a new Monopoly game. The pieces had to go back in the box and a new game started. Except she was not only creating a new Monopoly game, a new game, the way the game had already been played, she had to create an entirely new way of playing the game in the future. So that's the first thing you have to understand, is that even though the game has been played this way up until now and it's been successful, in order for me to be successful and even jump to a higher level, I have to get clear about who I am, who my team is, what the marketplace looks like, and we have to create an entirely new game. So just to get a real handle on getting very quickly, and you can do it within about a half hour, of what your game is and how it has to change over the next 90 days, just go to our book called The ABC Model. So in order to get our free download of this book, the ABC Model, complete book, it's got a complete audio track, video track, it's got a scorecard, just go to abcmodel.coach.